Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about your application to health profession programs. Before we get right into the meat of tips and tricks and reminders for this application season, we do want to put a small reminder in your ear about the Division of Health Professions Advising. Remember that Dr. James and I and the pre-health certified advisors are here to assist you with your pre-health needs. We put on these workshops throughout the year. We are also available for appointments. We review personal statements. We review your application if you send it to us and have an appointment before you submit. We can do all of those fun things to help ensure that you will be competitive. You all in this room are probably at the closer end to applying than some other students on campus. Some of the services you will ask of us may be different than, say, a freshman student. We are here for you. We're also here for them. So if you know of any underclassmen who are having aspirations of medical school, dental school, vet school, podiatry, optometry, and the likes, please make sure that they are seeing us from the beginning of that interest. As you guys now have seen, the sooner you start building a competitive application, the better your application will be. So with that being said, I'm going to start us off with Dr. Melvin James, kind of the other half of the Health Professions Advising Office, who's going to get us started with our workshop.
Okay, thank you so much, Lauren. And again, welcome to this workshop today. So why are you here? Why did you choose to come today?
Get tips on how to put together the best application.
Best application? Okay, anybody else? Why are you here? Yeah, you?
I don't really know where to start, really.
Okay, well, you're in the right place to begin. Okay, your application is very important. I'm teaching a class right now, developing a health profession portfolio, and I talk about the issue about the application. And I say in that class, you may be a very strong applicant. That doesn't mean you're going to have a strong application. Two different things. You may have a 4.0, the best of test scores, but if your application is not strong, then what's going to happen? They're going to bypass your application. So what you write in that application is critical. That's how you're going to be judged. Nobody knows who you are personally. All they know about you is what you have written, what you have included, what you have excluded. So you have to ask yourself, what are they looking for in the application itself? That's why we're going to help you today. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Number one, you need to decide how competitive you are for the profession. That's important. Remember, you're getting your degree, whatever that degree is. That's one line of a path. The second important issue is the profession, whether it's medicine, dentistry, optometry. How competitive are you? We're going to talk about being very competitive. Then talk about the application basics. What's important? What do you need to include in the application? And then how can you prepare for the application itself? So, what are the things that schools are looking for to make a decision? Okay. Remember that just having prereqs is insufficient. Most of the schools, the first or second year, are basic sciences. So if you go to dentistry, there are 2 years of basic sciences. You go to medicine, there are 2 years of basic sciences. You go into PA, there's 1 year of basic sciences. So the first question that they have is, what have you done to demonstrate that you can actually handle a tough 1 or 2 years of basic sciences? That's the entrance point. So as you tailor your application, you have to address that issue. Secondly, they look at your test scores. And then thirdly, your degree of commitment to the health profession is going to apply to. So how do you sort yourself out from everybody else? So your application is more than just your test score and your GPA, because whatever test score you have or GPA, guess what? Hundreds of people have it. So what's different about you? What's unique about you? That's going to be very important. You've got to be your own advocate. You have to learn to sell yourself, not to be pompous. But when they read your application, when they read your personal statement, would you want to meet this person? Would you want to interview them? That is the bottom line. And if you don't write your personal statement in such a way to encourage dialogue and to meet with people, no matter what GPA you have, they will ignore you. Remember, schools are not looking for applicants. They have too many. All right? USF Medical School has over 3,000 applications. For how many seats? Anybody knows?
130.
130, 140. You include both sets of 3,000 people from 120 to 140 seats. You have to show you've been very competitive. And you want to secure an interview. You want to be known. You want to be met in person. And typically schools will interview a ratio of 1 to 2.5 or 3 to the class that matriculates. So if a class has about 100 people, they may call for an interview about 250 to 300 persons. You want to get to that interview. Once you get the interview and sell yourself, then you can be competitive to either be accepted or to be put on a wait list. That is the intention of the whole application process. So when is it best to apply? Many people keep asking, well, should I apply early on? Should I apply mid-summer? Should I apply late in the summer? That all depends upon a number of factors. So for example, if you've not done much shadowing or volunteering, and you apply at the very beginning of the cycle, June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd, but right now you're doing some intense shadowing and volunteering, remember if you apply then, once you turn in your application, guess what? It's sealed. You can say, well, for the rest of June, July, August, I did A, B, and C. You cannot do that. Okay, so talk to your advisor to see, should I apply early, mid, or late? Again, you want to show that you know what it means to be a physician or pharmacist or dentist. Okay. So that goes back to the issue about your co-curricular activities. What have you done to show that you're really committed? Because remember, number one, you may be the brightest person, you may be Einstein's cousin, but schools have a particular invested interest financially. If they accept you, it's a big financial commitment. They will know that you're committed to be a PA or a PD person for the X number of years. They want to know that for sure. That has got to be resounding in your application. You've got to be very intentional in terms of what you write. So when is it best to apply? If you have any questions, okay. Remember, for those of you who are pre-meds, the MCAT especially is not linked to the primary application. So we'll talk about some more. The MCAT is part of the secondary application, not the primary application. So that's important to know. So should you apply? Number one, it's expensive to apply. I mean, those of you who are going to apply realize it's very, very expensive. It's a big investment. So should you apply? How competitive you are? Can you articulate why you want to be in this profession? What's going to make you be unique? So again, I think all of you have had the sheet. Have you seen the sheet before? No, okay. It talks about all of the health professions that we have, and it gives you a sense of the test scores for the means of people gotten last year and the GPA. Okay. So for dentistry, for example, last year was about a 3.54, that was the mean, and a DAT of 19.9. So you get a sense of where you stand. And that's very important because when you come to apply to schools, you have to be very strategic in the schools that you apply to.